The iPhone 17 mini keeps popping up because small iPhones haven't really come back. So if Apple is talking entry-level again, why does this one feel different? If you've been hanging on to a mini, that feeling is familiar. According to multiple leak reports and supply chain watchers, Apple is fixing the pricing problem first. But I was wondering, if price is the point, what's really changing under the surface to make it work? Interested to hear what you think. Comments are open, based on how Apple usually draws hard lines between tiers. The plan looks like modern internals and controlled features, not a regular strip phone. But then what's the part that could still disappoint once you actually use it? Because everyone wants compact until the compromises show up. From what current reporting keeps repeating across sources, some choices seem intentionally held back, so the Pro models still make sense. So who is this actually for? And who ends up realizing they should skip it? I keep seeing the same split in comments every time this rumor comes up. Looking at the way the lineup is rumored to be positioned, it feels built for people who want one-hand comfort without giving up longevity. As 2025 closes, attention stays fixed on flagship upgrades and ever larger displays. This time the signal points elsewhere. Analysts and supply chain reporting consistently point to early 2026, with spring timing in February often cited as the likely window. The name attached to those reports is iPhone 17e, positioned as Apple's next entry-level iPhone, and widely described as the moment compact thinking quietly returns just as demand peaks. This move reads as a correction rather than an experiment. Earlier mini models struggled largely because they were priced like flagships. By placing a smaller phone into the same price tier currently occupied by the iPhone 16e, Apple removes the biggest barrier to adoption. Reporting around the 17e consistently points to a starting price near $600, signaling that Apple is no longer testing whether people want small phones. It is acting on the assumption that they do, as long as pricing stays realistic. Design leaks clarify how this fits into the broader lineup. The standard iPhone 17, introduced in 2025, shifted to a larger 6.3-inch display. The 17e pulls that footprint back toward the 6.1-inch class, with some sources suggesting it could feel slightly more compact due to slimmer bezels. Usable screen area stretches closer to edge, keeping the phone visually modern without increasing physical size. On a smaller phone, display efficiency matters more than sheer dimensions. That is why the disappearance of the notch carries weight. Multiple reports indicate Dynamic Island replaces it entirely, freeing usable space for apps and system interactions while aligning the design with newer iPhones. Materials remain familiar and practical, with aluminum framing and glass panels chosen for durability, consistency, and cost control rather than premium signaling. The display itself follows that same balanced philosophy. A Super Retina XDR OLED panel delivers strong brightness and contrast in line with recent models. The refresh rate remains capped at 60 Hz, preserving clear separation from Pro devices. In everyday use, scrolling, reading, and video playback remain sharp and reliable rather than indulgent. Performance is where expectations shift most clearly. The iPhone 17 lineup introduced the A19 chip, built on an advanced 3-nanometer process. Leak consensus suggests that same A19 silicon appears in the iPhone 17e, rather than an older processor. That decision directly impacts longevity, ensuring demanding apps, on-device AI features, and future iOS updates remain smooth years into ownership. Software direction explains this choice. On-device AI is no longer optional in Apple's ecosystem. Apple Intelligence features depend on sustained processing headroom, not short bursts of speed. Pairing the A19 with an expected move to 8 GB of memory keeps the device responsive as workloads grow and software expectations rise. Storage options scale accordingly. A 128 GB base aligns with current entry models, while higher tiers accommodate users who rely heavily on photos, video, and offline apps. This avoids a familiar frustration of running out of space early, which matters more on a phone intended to last multiple upgrade cycles. Connectivity reinforces the forward-looking intent. Reports point to Apple's updated in-house modem, improving efficiency and integration compared to earlier generations. Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 6, USB-C, and modern 5G support keep accessories and networks current. Even at a lower price point, the hardware avoids feeling like repurposed leftovers. The camera system stays intentionally simple. A single rear sensor around 48 megapixels handles most situations through computational photography rather than hardware complexity. That approach delivers clean photos and stable 4K video at 60 frames per second without the cost or size of multi-lens arrays. The front camera remains focused on dependable clarity for calls, social media, and everyday use. Battery life has historically constrained smaller phones, which is where skepticism often appears. Leaks suggest Apple addresses this directly with battery around 4,000 mAh, larger than expected for size. Combined with the efficiency gains of the A19 chip and improved modem, this supports all-day use. Wired fast charging and MagSafe are expected to return without inflating the device. Production timing reinforces the strategy. Reports indicate mass production ramped shortly after CES 2026, feeding into a spring launch cycle. This places the release after flagship momentum settles, allowing the phone to stand on its own rather than compete for attention. Price is where the decision sharpens. A rumored starting point near $599 mirrors the current iPhone 16e and positions the phone as accessible without undercutting premium models. Storage upgrades climb predictably, while carrier incentives and trade-ins reduce the effective cost for many buyers. Taken together, the picture resolves clearly. The iPhone 17e is not a nostalgic throwback. It is a modern, compact iPhone designed for users who want power without bulk. Flagship-level silicon paired with controlled pricing reframes what entry-level means in Apple's lineup. Users who demand high refresh rates, multiple cameras, or cutting-edge display technology still have Pro options. Everyone else gains a balanced alternative that fits one hand and ages gracefully. If the leaks hold, waiting stops being a compromise and becomes a rational decision. After years of phones growing larger by default, Apple's 2026 plan signals a reset. Smaller devices return not as experiments, but as deliberate answers to how people actually use their phones. A commuter pulls a compact iPhone from a pocket without juggling coffee or keys. One-handed typing feels natural again, and reaching the top corner no longer risks a drop. This matters because years of larger phones quietly discouraged upgrades. Those small moments compound over daily use. Apple appears to be betting that ergonomics deserve priority again. Many users skipped recent models not because performance lagged, but because size made ownership tiring. A compact body with modern internals removes that barrier. Delayed upgrades turn into straightforward choices because nothing essential feels sacrificed. Power stopped being the problem years ago. Physical comfort became the limiting factor. A demographic shift reinforces a logic. Younger users entering the ecosystem want devices that feel personal and manageable. Parents choosing first phones prioritize durability and efficiency over excess. A smaller form paired with flagship-level performance satisfies both needs cleanly. Supply chain behavior supports the confidence behind this move. Reports suggest Apple is reusing refined display production techniques from prior generations. Thinner bezels and proven OLED panels keep the device current without raising costs, signaling optimization rather than risk-taking. That discipline appears across the lineup. Features are not removed randomly. They are held back to preserve clarity between tiers. Pro models justify pricing through advanced displays and camera systems. The 17e focuses on balance instead of excess. Balance matters more as software demands grow. Operating systems assume multi-year ownership. Apps expect memory headroom. AI features require sustained performance. Using the same A19 chip across tiers simplifies development and reduces fragmentation. Developers benefit from that consistency. A shared performance baseline lowers edge cases and optimization compromises. Users feel it through smoother apps and fewer limitations. Efficiency also changes thermal behavior. A compact phone with modern silicon sustained performance longer than older designs. Navigation, gaming, and video capture remain smooth. Heat becomes less noticeable instead of disruptive. Photography follows the same pattern. Computational techniques rely on processing power more than extra lenses. Night modes, HDR stacking, and stabilized video benefit directly from modern silicon. A single sensor now rivals multi-camera systems from only a few years ago. Battery life ties everything together. A compact phone that reliably lasts all day changes habits. Power banks disappear from bags. Reliability replaces anxiety as the defining trait. Charging convenience reinforces that trust. MagSafe enables effortless top-ups that fit naturally into daily routines. Small conveniences matter most on devices used constantly. Stepping back, the timing looks intentional. An early 2026 launch avoids flagship noise. The device earns its own story and targets users who waited deliberately. Upgrade cycles align neatly. Many iPhone 12 and 13 users approach 5 years of ownership. Batteries weaken and software demands grow. A compact, modern replacement arrives just as patience runs out. Pricing completes the picture. Around $600 feels attainable without feeling disposable. For users who value comfort, longevity, and performance in equal measure, the iPhone 17e becomes a rational choice to keep for years.